Hello guys, and welcome to my tutorial video for 2 Point Hospital. So 2 Point Hospital is a spiritual successor to Theme Hospital that released ages ago, probably like 20 years ago at this point, but it's a really good game. Now what I've been doing a lot of is I've been playing a lot of the main story or the main campaign. So what the main campaign involves is you are tasked as hospital administrator to fix all these different hospitals around the world, and you can see which ones I've already done with the 3 stars. And there's still plenty more for me to do, but I wanted to give you an introduction to the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewind back to the very first hospital, and what I'm actually going to do in fact is reset this hospital just so I can show you how it works. So this is a hospital I made, but let's restart it. So restart level, yes. Now the point of this game is to make a hospital and to make it profitable as well. So you need to, okay, it gives you introduction to the basic controls, which I'll go through right now. So let's pause time first of all. So to move around, you can either hold right click or you can use WASD. To zoom in and out, middle mouse scroll wheel. To rotate the camera, hold middle click and then drag. Okay, so let's just do it like that. And if you want to change the angle that you're looking at the world, use R or F. You can see that's how you do it. Now the first thing you want when you build a hospital is a reception area. So let's see, you see, you click on down here, click on items, reception desk. That's the first thing you want. What I tend to do is I tend to put it like right in the middle to greet patients the second they come in. Now to rotate, press X. So X on the keyboard makes you rotate, and then simply place. Okay, so we have a reception desk. Now the first thing we're going to want to build is actually a GP surgery, a GP's office. So we have a reception. So let's see. Well, they've added. So this is, I guess, new. This wasn't in before. Now the thing is, I'm going to stick to the very basics. I don't want to do anything which is not available to you the second you start the game. So the reception pod that you saw, that's for later levels, that's more advanced. Initially you just have the reception desk, and the more you play the game, the more you unlock, the more features you unlock, the more rooms you unlock, the different types of treatments you can do, and so on. But remember, this is obviously level 1. So the first thing we're actually going to build is a GP office. So now one thing to note that will help you in the long run is you have very limited space. So as much as I would like to make the biggest GP office in the history of GP offices, it doesn't help to do that because you don't have that much space to deal with. Other hospitals and other levels, you'll be able to buy buildings nearby and and be able to use as much space as possible, but not in this first level. So I'm going to build my first GP office here. I'm going to make it as small as possible. You see here, 3 by 3. Okay, so you place it, and then you place the door. If you want to add and make it bigger, you can click this button up here, add to room. So you could put it like that. But if you decide you don't want that, you can also click that button to get rid of blocks and so on. As long as it's highlighted blue, it means that it's the right amount. Okay, now what you want minimum, you see these stars. The stars mean this is the minimum you need to place in order to start the room. Now you have the office desk. Now the desk is the GP will be sitting behind it, and the patient will be sitting in the other chair. So we've rotated it so it's like this. Okay, and then the next thing, the filing cabinet, and then let's put the filing cabinet right there. Okay, so now you can see the tick has turned green, which it means it's it's ready to be made. This room is ready to be confirmed. Now what you also have is prestige levels. the more you play the game, the more you're going to want to like increase the prestige. It's sort of like the presence, the reputation, the beauty, the whatever of the hospital. Okay, so let's make that. Initially, we're trying to keep our expenses as low as we possibly can. We have a fixed amount of money. We need to make money before we can spend it. So we've built one GP office, and that's it. Now we're gonna be as cheap as humanly possible. We're gonna have one bench. You can see they cost money. It's down to your preference. I'm just gonna make it purple. So this is gonna be a waiting bench. Okay, and then we are going to let's see. Right. So now we're actually going to hire our first doctor. So click down here, bottom left, hire, and you have doctors, nurses, assistants, janitors. Now, the first thing you're going to actually want is a assistant, because they will actually greet people into the hospital. And again, what you can do, you can read their different characteristics. So it says motivated, short temper, will work for peanuts, good downfield vision. Okay, and then this person, green fingers, isn't the same anymore. Okay, so that doesn't sound healthy. And then this one, grumpy, collects music that sold poorly. Okay, so we're actually going to take this guy because the will work for peanuts is very useful, given that we don't know how much money we're going to be making initially. So we're going to hire this guy. We only need to hire one because he will sit right there. And then the other applications we can just ignore. One thing you do need, you need at least a janitor, but we'll get to that, and you need at least a nurse, but we'll get to that later. Now, you do need a doctor who can do diagnosis. Now, you can see these doctors are really expensive, though. So, okay, so let's read again. Class Clown prefers Jasmine Odyssey's first few albums. Okay, and then let's see. Tires easily, will work for peanuts. Inspiring, makes jokes to fill the silence. Okay, and they're qualified in psychiatry and research. Now, ideally, you want one who is cheap initially and has a lot of these slots. So what these slots are the skills. The more they get promoted in their job, the more skills and training that they can take part in. So you can see that this doctor is very qualified, but for that reason, they expect a very high salary. Whereas this one is as you can see, student doctor. So we're going to employ this guy, and we're going to put him in the GP surgery. Okay, and that's so that's the first step. We have a reception area, we have a GP surgery. The next thing we're going to want to do is get a treatment room. Okay, so general diagnosis for further diagnosis. So now, before we get into that, these rooms, you can actually move them around, so they don't have to stay there. So if we click, for example, we've clicked on the room, click edit, you can pick up the entire room and put it somewhere else. And you can even rotate like it's a piece of furniture. So no one has said it has to stay where it is forever. So let's in fact let's do some rearranging. Okay, so we're going to actually put it let's say here. Okay, we're going to confirm. We're going to pick up the bench. So if you click on something, when you click on it, this allows you to pick it up, this allows you to sell it. Okay, so click on that, let's pick it up, let's put it there. Now this reception area, we're going to put it like here. Okay, right, so it's just we're thinking about the space we need. We're going to need a lot of space in the future. Now, in fact, I'm not happy with this placement, so I'm going to rotate this. So let's rotate it like this. Okay, in fact, let's put it there. Okay, let's see. So okay, so that step was in the way. Let's see. Let me see where I can put this. Let me put it there. Okay, now Okay, so let's build a room and let's pick up this bench and so on. Now, the problem is with this game is that you could spend hours and hours and hours just on design. Because, like I said, you want to get absolutely the most use out of the space. Okay, so in fact, let's now play a game. So, first thing, the hospital will need a reception. We've done that. So it does step you through the basics for you. Great, we'll need an assistant. Done. We've done that. And then now we need a GP's office. Done. To build a room. Okay, so there is a step tutorial of how to do these things that we've already done. And hire a doctor. We've done that. So the hospital is now open. Simple as that. So we're going to get our first patients. Now, when it comes to the doctors themselves, you can look at their skills. And by clicking on the doctor, you could pick them up, for example. And you could, you see here, pick up. So let's say I want him in the GP office. Okay, so I picked him up by doing that. Now, what you can also do, this is where you look at their skills. You could fire them. You could force them to take a break if you have a staff break room. You could look at their salary. You can see what jobs they're assigned to. So you can see that he is working in the GP's office. Later on, you can actually assign them to other jobs. If you get lots of staff, you can preference which staff will do which jobs. So obviously, you will look at their skills, and you'll be able to assign which jobs to who. Okay? And then, on top of all of that, you'll be able to, like I said, do the pay review. So if you click on here on finance, if you click on this is your staff actually. Click on your staff, then click on this pay review. You can see they're okay, they're satisfied with their pay. But if they do really well, you can push it way up if you want. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be as cheap as possible. But you also have this button here, all pay by 1%. So you can increase everyone's salary. Like, let's assume later you have like 50 staff. You want to give them all a pay rise, you can click that button once, and that's it. And this will also give you, this is also tabbed of the different type of staff. So like I said, doctors, nurses, assistants, and janitors. Okay, so we have an assistant, and so on. Now, one thing to be wary of is their happiness level. Later on, there will also be an indication of how tired they are. Okay, so right, the next thing is follow the tutorial. So let's rotate the camera. So pitch. So pitch means like this. Okay, so next we are going to diagnose a patient. So, and what you can also do as well, you can speed up time. Let's say it's taking too long for a patient to appear. So you can fast forward. And a patient, yep, there you go. This is our first patient. Okay. So he's sent straight to the GP's office. It was like dancing just before the patient got in. Okay. Now, we've diagnosed our first patient. The GP has sent a message. Take a look at the bottom right. Okay. So let's pause time so the patient isn't idly running by. Okay. So, but he's been diagnosed as having gout. Now, our doctors have discovered an illness, gout, a frequently transmitted in bathrooms, and modern medication is effective, unlike earlier times when it had to be dug out painfully with a screwdriver. The thing to know as well, guys, is the that this game it's just jokes. It's just making light of a lot of times fake diseases. So I would ask, please don't be offended. Now, at this point, because we don't have the facilities, we don't have a pharmacy to treat him, you make the decision there and then. Make the patient wait or send the patient home. So I'm actually going to make him wait because I have more than enough money and more than enough ability to make a pharmacy. So let's get the patient to wait. So let's now make a pharmacy. So let's do it. So let's go to rooms. Let's go to pharmacy. Again, we're going to make one. as small as we can. Literally as small as we can. Okay. So, see, highlighted in blue. So there we go. Now, what's actually kind of funny in this game is that pharmacies are basically, they're like a drug slot machine almost. So, yeah. Now, again, you might think that this is very tight, but it's because I'm trying to think of how little space we have. Okay, so let's accept that. And we're going to also build them their own, get them their own bench. Okay, so, right. So we've made a pharmacy, but in order to run the pharmacy, we now need a nurse. Okay, so let's hire a nurse. Ideally, you want one who is qualified in pharmacy, but for now, let's just take a look. Hygienic, literate, sick of string sections. Okay, high energy, grows turnips to give as gifts. Okay, and then has potential, prefers baths to showers. Okay, but you can see they have their traits, so they're a quick learner as well. So let's hire the nurse. There we go. So we hired a nurse now, so we can now treat this patient. So let's see if we're successful. Now the problem is, when you have certain facilities and when you're low level, there is a chance that the treatment will fail. That's life, you know, that's reality. But by being as ready as possible, we reduce the chances of failure. Because the unfortunate truth is, it's a hospital. You know, eventually patients might die. So, okay, he's cured. So, and we got an unrealistic amount of money, but whatever. We got $5,000 for the cure patient. So well done, we cured our first patient, we've earned some money, and the hospital's reputation has improved, which will attract more patients. Okay, so basically...
We've just cured our very first patient.
Yay! So, one thing that you'll discover in this game, it's like, the more people you cure, the quicker patients come in. So, it can easily lead to being overwhelmed. But, a mistake that you can often make in a game like this is to expand too quickly. Because then you run out of money and then you're screwed. Now, you do get these letters as well. So I would say read them. Don't ignore the mail that builds up. So the hospital reputation increases with each patient successfully cured, but decreases when a treatment fails, especially if a patient dies. High reputation attracts more patients and better staff to hire. Cool. So that's that. Next, we're going to look at the other rooms we can build. Now, we have the pharmacy and so on, but the staff need a staff room. This is where they go to chill out. So, let's make a staff room, like, I don't know, here. Let's make it as, again, as small as possible, but as close as possible, so they don't have to travel too far to get there. Now, what I'm also going to do, okay, the minimum we need is a sofa. Okay. Right, now, later on, like I said, we'll work on all these other things. Now, what you also get in this game is something called kudosh. As you complete more and more tasks, you get kudosh. And what the kudosh does, it allows you to unlock more and more items to get. So you can see here, I could buy either a backless bench or a football bean bag with my kudosh. So let's do that. So we're unlocking more and more items. So this is something that you do over time, is that you unlock more and more. Now let's build the room. I'm not happy with its placement because this placement looks a bit weird. So in fact, let's just let's move it right into this like corner. Accept. There we go. So we have a staff room. So this is where the staff will go to chillax. Okay. Now, I am leaving these gaps on purpose because you do want to have space around the rooms in order to travel between rooms. So I could put one there, and you could access it straight away without having to walk around here. Okay, so that's the idea of this layout that I'm going for, because I'm thinking about the long term in mind. Okay, so we have a staff room now, so the staff can go chill. Okay, the staff will need a staff room. Yep, called it. Now, if you notice, for example, that the staff energy levels become really low, and they don't take a break by themselves, then you can click the take a break button, which forces them to take a break. Now, janitors and maintenance. So it says, now that we've got some expensive machinery, we should think about looking after it. Machines will deteriorate with use and will need repairing from time to time. A machine falls into disrepair, it can be a fire hazard. Fires are generally considered bad for business. Yep. So hire a janitor to maintain machines. While you're at it, make sure we've got some fire extinguishers nearby. Better safe than sorry. Okay, so that's a clear warning that we need fire extinguishers next to our machinery. The only machinery we have so far is the drug mixer. So we click on the room, click on items, let's get a fire extinguisher, and let's put it basically there, just in case it catches on fire. Okay? So, right, they want us to actually get 2. So, in fact, let's just put one. Let's put one in every room. Okay. I don't know how a fire will spontaneously break out in here, but whatever. Better safe than sorry. Next, we're going to hire a janitor. So let's take a look at what they have. Will work for peanuts. Charming. Doesn't have an internet presence. Ooh. Okay. And then next, likes to argue. Grumpy. Used to fish as a child. Hasn't since. Okay. So a natural mentor. Unnerved by rebranding. Okay. So let's hire this one because the cheaper the better. But I think I like this profile better than the second one. So let's hire this one janitor. You don't want to hire too many because basically, one, it's a cost, and two, you just don't want random staff who are just doing absolutely nothing. So yeah. Now, generally, I could go on for hours and hours and hours about this, but that's the general tutorial of this game. You can go on and on and on and so on. So in fact, what we're going to do is we're now going to skip to a hospital that has been fully built, and I'm going to take you through it. So let's go to this second hospital. Now there is interesting, like you can have interaction with other friends on your Steam list, and you can see how well their hospital is doing and so on. So let me just give you a quick overview of this hospital, and then we'll wrap up the video. Right, so you can see that this hospital is way more intense. I put a lot of work into this hospital. So what we have 2 GP surgeries, we have our pharmacy, this is a general diagnosis room as well. We have, in fact, 2 of them, so 2 diagnosis rooms and so on. This is psychiatry. You can see I've got plants everywhere because plants just give a more lovey feel to the hospital. Then we have a ward with lots and lots of beds. So some treatments just involve them working in a ward. We have a toilet, you can see, with many cubicles. We have another GP surgery and so on. And what's nice about this hospital is that it does have other buildings. So you can see that I was working on increasing the space I have. So over here we have even more GP surgeries and more different types of treatment rooms. So we have a staff room here and so on. So like I would say with this game, with 2 Point Hospital, let your imagination run wild. You can always pause time. You can make the hospital look and feel as practical and as good as possible. Make the most use out of the space. So you can see I kept all these rooms as small as possible, but I made the ward massive because simply I want as many beds in it as possible. And when I look at my staff, for example, so let's look at my staff roster. You can see here I'm employing 26 staff, but generally they're mostly happy and they're also very well trained. So I have been trying my best to make sure that I'm increasing their skills as much as humanly possible. So now one thing that you'll learn later as well is that in order to add skills, you can either, for example, look at who is available to be hired and potentially fire old staff and replace them with new staff. But what is better is to simply train the staff you have, and you can make a training room in order to do that, to hire the staff. And you can have some staff mentor other staff. You can make it so that the higher skilled staff can train staff. If you don't have anyone who has that skills, you can get someone who is an outside consultant, but they're quite expensive, who will train in that skill. So yeah, so all I would say is have fun with this game. It's really, really fun, and basically follow the in-game tutorials, don't ignore pop-ups, and always keep an eye out on the money. You always have the option, if you need to take out loans, but it's a better idea not to. Basically, if you can avoid ever taking out a loan, great, but it is an option that's available for you. But just be wary that all these loans are not available to you straight away. It depends on the size of the hospital, how much collateral you have, what your reputation is, and so on. So I can take them all out because this hospital is in really good stead, but there's no need, basically. So yeah, so anyway guys, that's it for my tutorial video. Do you like this game? Do you have any thoughts about 2 Point Hospital? Please let me know in the comments down below. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can watch a random video over there, you can watch the latest upload down there, or you can click down here to subscribe. Thank you guys, bye bye.